right, since I gauged, or you told me that you're kind of at a level 6, 7, and 8 tonight, let's begin standing a moment. Before anything else, step your feet apart, generously wider than hips distance. Parallel your feet. And with your knees very bent, hinge from your hips and bow forward. Try to elongate your spine rather than rounding it. And then let your hands hold on to opposite elbows here as you just perhaps shift around and let the spine gently sway side to side. Let your weight tilt forward so it's a bit heavier on the balls of your feet than your heels. And with your hands gently pulling your elbow tips towards the earth, allow more weight to shift downward as the sitting bones lift. And then you might softly shake your head no, loosening up your neck. Nod your head yes. Unwind your jaw. Switch the cross of your elbow on top. Perhaps you lean towards one calf a bit, beginning to straighten that leg you're leaning towards as you bend the opposite knee a little more. Feel in the way that your body is naturally breathing right now. If you're leaning towards one leg, switch. As you lean towards the other leg, straighten it, bend the opposite knee. Allow your shoulders to rise up and away from your neck as you create a little more space in the neck, rest of the spine. And come back through center. Crawl your fingertips onto the ground ahead. If the ground is too low to reach, you could bend the knees more. You could step the feet wider apart. Find a way to press down with your fingertips and rise halfway up. Pausing here. Feel the belly firm in towards the back. Broadening the shoulder blades as you lengthen the neck by reaching the crown forward. Feel the fronts of your thighs engage, supporting your balance. Find a few more breaths to lengthen the side waist from your outer hips to your shoulders and then down to the sides of the neck, firming in the belly to support the lower back. Knees as bent as you need. Place the right hand front and center on the ground. Raise the left arm up. Now keep the two hips squared or balanced and begin to turn your chest to the left. Maybe even looking up past the left thumb. Breathing in a little deeper. Reach the crown of your head forward. Find length from tailbone to your neck. Breathing out, still the pelvis, but see if you can turn the chest a little further into that spinal twist. Let's take one more deep breath in through the nose. Side out, open the mouth, and release the left hand down. Keeping the pelvis still again, raise the right arm up. Reach the crown forward, lengthen the sides of the neck. As you exhale, turn the chest to the right. Maybe look up towards the right thumb. As you press the shoulder heads back, reach the crown of the head forward. Take one more deep breath, rotating the chest, but keeping the two hips balanced. Again, open the mouth, exhale. Heel toe your feet close enough together where you could comfortably, with parallel feet, bend your knees, completely drop your spine, your head. But as you firm down through your feet, hollow your belly and begin to inhale to round and roll up to stack, one vertebra at a time, lifting your head last. And when you rise all the way to the top, roll the shoulders behind you and exhale, soften them down. One more time, inhale, float the shoulders forward and up. Exhale them back and down. Reach the arms overhead, catch hold of the right wrist, round the right foot deeper, and then lift up to the sideways, then lean over to your left side. Press down to the right foot a little heavier, breathe in, lift up to the sideways, continue to side bend to the left side. As you relax the shoulders down, keep space in your neck, and then firm the belly in a little more so that you can inhale to rise up, catch hold of the left wrist. Then exhale, start to lean to the right. Firm the left foot a little deeper into the ground and lift the lower spine from the pelvis. Exhaling as you side bend a little more to the same side. Let's take one more breath here in this lateral opening of the spine. Firm the belly towards the back and inhale to rise. And open the arms, bend the knees, exhale, forward fold. Find a comfortable seat here. You could sit on your shins if that's comfortable for your knees. You could prop your pelvis on top of a pillow. maybe sit cross-legged. So as I mentioned in the past few days or this week, I'm looking up and sharing different angles or approaches to meditation in hopes that in the diversity of our community, each one will find something that resonates most with them. Here is a book by this Eric Schiffman, yoga master, who wrote The Spirit and Practice of Moving into Stillness about yoga. And I love his explanation of what meditation is. He says that the asanas, or the physical postures, were not only valued because they were physically beneficial, but because they were an especially effective way of both facilitating and sustaining the meditative state. The primary practice, however, was and is meditation, experiencing oneself in stillness. He says that meditation means listening, and the meditative mind is the listening to infinite mind. The practice of yoga is a way of learning to be in this meditative listening state all the time. It's not only about how flexible your body is or how many advanced and intricate postures you can do, though all of that is wonderful. It's about you and your specific mind listening to, being guided by, and communing with infinite mind. Some might call that source, divine consciousness, God. The word yoga means yoke, and yoke means union and joining. Through the practice of yoga, you join your specific mind with the infinite mind through the act of listening for guidance, and thereby experience your already existing oneness with the infinite. In this way, there is only one mind in your awareness, not your mind and infinite mind, but infinite mind only expressing itself as you. The practice of meditation is about consciously establishing a line of communication between your mind and the infinite mind, a line of communion. The result is ongoing nonverbal communication with the infinite in the form of spontaneous, intuitive revelation, specific and appropriate to the moment wherever you find yourself. Through the regular practice of meditation, you can learn to communicate with the ocean part of you, the as yet unclaimed part of you, the greater aspect of you that has always been you, but that you may have not recognized as yourself. And because of the undeniable, effortless communion you'll experience, you will gradually realize that you are that in specific expression. It's inevitable. So we're going to reserve again the last 3 minutes of practice to sit in meditation, and I'll offer a different approach of mindfulness meditation. So as you sit here now, beginning with more focus on the breath, let's place the left hand on the chest, place the right hand on the lower belly, ground through your pelvis, lift up through the center of your spine, and then soften the shoulders down, relax the face. Now, as you breathe in slowly, begin to fill up both palms, the belly, all the way up to the chest. Find a pause at the top of the inhalation while relaxing the body. And then one more through the mouth, empty the breath with a long whisper like you're fogging a mirror. Find a pause at the bottom of the breath. Keep sitting tall, hollow the belly. And now close the lips again, inhale into the belly. Fill up the lungs to the top of the chest. Pause again, but close the lips and gently narrow the back of your throat, softly whispering the breath out through your nose. Go to the very bottom of that breath and gently pause. One more like that, inhaling, fill up the belly, lower lungs, mid lungs, top of the chest. Hold it in a moment. Gently whisper the breath out through the nose by narrowing the back of the throat. Pause at the bottom of the breath. Now let's remove the pauses and balance the in with out. Inhaling through the nose. Exhaling through the nose. Feeling the rise and fall of your own breathing as you consciously sustain it. Let your attention to your breath be a means of practicing that meditative state of mind, the act of listening. And then we'll start to come down to all fours as you continue to listen to the breath, setting your wrists a couple inches in front of your shoulders and setting your knees right under your hips. And with your next inhalation, start to lift the chest in cow pose, lengthening the lower back as you arch the upper middle back. And as you exhale, drawing the belly in, round the spine. Tuck the tailbone under, drop the skull, cat pose. Inhaling, stretch the lower back again, then lift the chest. Roll the shoulders behind you and down. Exhaling, firm the belly in, tuck the tailbone under and round. One more time in cat-cow. Listening to the waves of your breath. Smooth, steady, and balanced. Now this time, inhale, lifting the chest, tuck your toes behind you, flatten the palms, fingers spread wide. And on an exhale with bent knees, lift your hips as high as you can away from your hands. And as you straighten the arms, begin to pedal the feet slowly in place, pressing one heel down, bending the opposite knee, then switching a few times. Now you might also add swiveling the hips left and right as you do that, sort of like you're doing the twist. If you'd like a little more stretch in the side body, the outer hips. Feel how grounded your palms are, especially between your thumbs and index fingers. And as you continue to ground that way, rotate the outer sides of your upper arms downward towards the ground so that the triceps rolling downward broadens the shoulder blades across your back ribs. Letting the head hang free, look towards your feet and see them at least hips width, parallel. And then start to become still as you hold downward facing dog for just a few more breaths. Feel the shoulder blades rise away from the neck, the sitting bones lift, fronts of your thighs firm back, bending your knees as much as you need to get the most length in your spine. Firm the belly in. At the end of this exhalation, walk to the front of your mat to stand in a forward fold, Uttanasana. Feet still parallel apart. Bend your knees slightly and press your hands on your shins or the ground, breathing in to lift the chest forward, slide the shoulders back. Exhale, fold in. Firming down to your feet, inhale, circle the arms overhead to rise and look up as the palms touch. Exhale, trace your thumbs down your center line. Inhale, sweep the space around you, gazing up towards the thumbs. Exhale, hinge from your hips, bowing towards the earth. Press the ground to your legs. Inhale, lengthen forward, chest forward. Plant your hands flat on the floor and carefully step into a plank pose. We'll stay for a few breaths. Now this time, stack your shoulders right on top of your wrists. Knees can be on the ground for extra support or legs straight for more rigor. And if your legs are straight, firm the heels back. Feel them stack right above the balls of your feet. Fronts of your thighs engage. Lengthen the neck by looking just in front of the hands. Now keep lifting the lower belly, trying to keep chest and belly on the same plane as you exhale to glide forward, bend the elbows to hug your side ribs, and as you lower all the way to the mat. See that your wrists are now alongside your floating ribs as you hug your elbows close to your sides. Pointing your toes, firm the tops of your feet on the mat, pubic bone on the floor, and then draw the shoulder heads behind you to lift the chest, looking slightly down. A few breaths in baby cobra. Now feel your lower back lengthen through the intention of stretching the tailbone back towards the space between your heels. Feel the arching of right under your shoulder blades where you're contracting the muscles of the upper back. Press down to your hands, tuck your toes behind you, either with knees on the floor or legs straight. Push up and lift the pelvis back to downward facing dog. Let's take about 3 breaths. Inhale, close the lips again, breathe out through the nose. Fine-tuning the qualities in your breath that embody the intention you're here for. What feeling are you choosing to cultivate through the approach to your physical practice here? with very bent knees, look in front of your hands. At the end of this exhalation, try to hold the breath, lift your pelvic floor, and walk or lightly jump to the front of your mat, landing in a forward fold. Then inhale, press to lengthen halfway up. Exhale, fold in. Shifting the weight forward, inhale, sweep the arms overhead and rise up. Exhale, join your palms together at your heart. Take a moment, if you have one, to clarify your intention for this practice. Breathing in, breathing out, release the arms by your sides. Let's flow, energizing the body, creating some warmth for the muscles and joints, and steadying our minds. Sun salutation A, 3 rounds. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, press to lengthen forward. Step to plank or lightly float back, halfway down landing. Exhale, shift forward and down if you step to plank. Inhale into cobra or upward facing dog. Press through the hands and exhale, lift the hips back to downward facing dog. Let's pause here for 3 to 5 breaths. Feel your fingers spread on the mat as your index fingers parallel, pointing forward. Feel your shoulders rise away from the neck as you drop the head, looking towards your feet. Triceps rotating towards the earth. With a belly engaged, bend your knees, lift your heels and hips high, look in front of your hands. At the end of the exhalation, try holding the breath out, lifting your pelvic floor, quietly land at the front of your mat. Inhale, lengthen forward. Exhale, fold. Root to your feet. Inhale, rise up, look up. Exhale, join your hands at your heart. 2 more rounds of Surya Namaskar A. Inhale the arms up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. Step to plank or lightly jump if that is in your practice. Inhale into cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale back to downward facing dog, pausing for 3 to 5 breaths here. Feel the rooting down through fingers spread, the lifting up through hips, shoulders, back. As your breath has restabilized, when you're ready, bend the knees and look forward. Empty the breath, then walk or float to the top. Inhale, lengthen forward. Exhale, fold. Rooting down, inhale, rise and look up. Exhale, mountain pose. Last time, inhale the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Step to plank and lower or lightly float into Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale into cobra or upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Few breaths. Now, as your feet are on the ground, hips distance, feel your 2 hips leveled in height, trying to maintain that. Inhale, raise the right leg behind you. As you exhale, bend your right knee towards your nose, lifting the belly to round the spine and plank. Pause here. Push down with your hands and lift the navel a little higher. And on an exhale, lightly land the right foot just inside of your right thumb, separating your feet hips width in a lunge. Now, as your fingertips are still on the ground, take a moment here to feel the action of your legs. Though they're still, energetically scissor them towards each other, rebalancing the hips, engaging muscles in the legs to stabilize your balance. Reach your arms back by your sides. Palms face down. Look just ahead of your right toes and broaden the chest. How's your breathing? As you hug the right outer hip towards your midline, scissor it back and begin to lift the belly to hover off the right thigh, just a couple inches. 2 more breaths. Feel the strength of your legs as your quads, quadriceps, wrap your femurs, your thigh bones. Then start to press through both feet, sweep the arms in front of you and up, rising into crescent lunge. Now put at least a little bend in your left knee to allow your tailbone to easily tilt downward, lifting your frontal hip bones as you engage the lower abdomen. Continue to draw the right outer hip slightly back, the left outer hip forward, and then use the reach of your arms up to feel the length all the way down the sides of your torso as you relax the shoulders. Let's take 2 more breaths. Optional to seal the palms and look up towards your thumbs. From here, join your hands in prayer at your heart, preparing for Warrior 2. Spin the back heel to the floor. Slide the right foot a few inches to the left to align your right heel to intersect the arch of your left foot. Now, as you reopen your arms, stack your wrists pretty much right above your ankles. Feel that your left leg is slightly internally rotated so that your back toes slightly face the front of your mat. As you bend the right knee just over the heel, feel the right thigh completely turn out at the hip so your outer right hip slightly wraps underneath your body. Again, directing the tailbone straight down towards the earth. With a slight lift in the front of the pelvis, belly is engaged. Steady your drishti, or gaze, on one spot just past the right hand to help stabilize mind, breath, and body. 3 more breaths here. Virabhadrasana 2. Now, as you press down firmly through both feet, think of engaging your fronts of your thighs. Straighten the right leg, flip the right palm up, and raise it up and overhead towards the rear of your mat into a lateral stretch, reverse triangle. Left hand lightly lands in the left leg. Softly press the right hip bone towards the front of your mat. Lengthening the right sideways, just 1 more inhalation as we prepare for triangle pose. Firm the belly in, exhale, rise up. Now for triangle, you might shorten your stance a couple of inches, might feel more stable. Slide your hips towards the rear edge of your mat, reaching the right hand past your right knee before lowering it onto your right thigh, shin, or just outside of your right leg. Now feel whatever is present in that right side of lower back and torso. If it starts to feel compressed, that's a good sign to experiment with the right hand coming up a little higher, not too low. You don't want to feel like you're collapsing all your weight down with that right hand. In fact, you want to feel powerful in your legs and the sides of your torso to be able to even lift a finger more of that right hand. You might be looking up past your left thumb as we stay about 3 more breaths in Utthita Trikonasana, triangle pose. Find space in your neck by sliding the shoulder blades down your back. Space in your back, drawing the right hip crease towards the rear of your mat. Now begin to rotate the left outer upper arm or tricep to face the left side that you're looking at. Reach the left arm overhead. Breathe into the left side of your rib cage. 1 more breath like that. Look at your right foot and cartwheel your 2 hands to frame it. Step into plank. Now some of you might want to flow. If you're feeling very energetic, keep moving. Otherwise, meet us in downward facing dog. Feel the breath. Once in downward dog, grounding the fingers spread. Feel your 2 hips balanced again. Maintaining that, inhale, raise the left leg behind you. As you exhale, bend the knee towards your nose, contract the belly, pause as you hover shoulders over wrists. Press through the hands, lift the belly a little higher if you can. And with an exhale, softly land left foot just inside of the left thumb, coming into a high lunge with your fingertips on the ground. Now feel that your outer feet are as wide apart as your outer hips, really stable. Parallel the feet. Bring the energetic feeling of dragging the legs towards each other to be able to lift the arms back by your sides. Palms face down, look forward, lengthen the neck, breathe. As you firm the belly towards the back, hover it a couple inches off your left thigh. Feel your left hip hug in towards your midline and draw towards the rear of your mat. Feel the stability of your legs as you raise the arms overhead to rise and crescent lunge. Yeah, beautiful, everyone. Put a little bend in your right knee, or a lot. You could always put it on the ground to modify. And feel your pelvic bowl orient upright, engaging the lower abdomen. And observe how that affects more length in your spine. And thus, the ability to breathe a little deeper and more freely. Soften the face. Maybe the palms touch and you look up. Last 2 breaths here in crescent pose. So holding still in these physical postures, another wonderful tool to practice sitting in meditation. Join your hands in prayer at your heart. Spin the right heel to the ground and slide the left foot a few inches to the right to align your left heel to the arch of your right foot. As you open the arms, stack your wrists above your ankles and feel your right leg slightly turned inward to face the front of your mat. As you bend the left knee just over the heel, feel your left outer hip slightly wrap underneath your body. Again, the pelvic bowl sitting upright, affecting full length of the spine. Relax the shoulders down. Lift up to your heart and to your crown. Steady your gaze. Soften your eyes. 3 more breaths. Warrior 2. Firm down through your feet, straighten the legs, engage the front of your thighs. Flip the left palm up and sweep it overhead towards the rear of your mat. Right hand lightly lands on the right leg in this lateral reverse triangle. Feel the breath expand into your left side body. Now as you firm the belly in, rise up to prepare for triangle. You might bring your feet a couple inches closer together, but keep the same orientation. Slide your hips towards the rear edge of your mat and reach the left hand past your left knee before lowering it onto your thigh, shin, or just to the outside of your left leg. Take notice of the sensations that arise or any changes in your breath, as those are great indicators of when to maybe step back a little. You might play with lifting the left hand a little higher if you feel compression in the left side body. And now if it feels okay on your neck, look up past your right thumb. We're here in triangle pose, about 3 more breaths. Shoulder blades pressing down your back, belly firming in towards the back. Now from your right shoulder joint, rotate your right tricep to face the right side. Sweep it overhead towards the front of the mat. Take a couple of breaths to open the right side body. Look down at your left foot. And on your next exhale, lower your 2 hands to plank, optional to flow through a vinyasa, cat-cow, maybe rest in child's pose. We'll meet in downward facing dog. Breathing in, breathing out. Feel the rebalancing of your breath as a feeling of sanctuary. As you realign mind, body, breathing. From downward facing dog, bend your knees, look ahead of your hands, empty your breath, then lightly land at the front of your mat. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold in. Sweep the arms, inhale to rise, palms touch. Exhale, join the hands at your heart. Let's flow through sun salutation B. We'll mark it the first round, then flow continuously the second round. So with feet touching, bend your knees to touch. Sit low and sink your weight back towards your heels as we pause a few breaths in the first posture, chair, Utkatasana. Now, as you're sitting here, you want to be able to look down and see your toes. The shin bones are gliding back that much. Knees are hugging the midline. Then feel the natural curve of your lower back as the tailbone descends. Bottom front ribs hug the lower back. Relaxing the shoulders down, lift your heart for 1 more inhale. Then exhale, shift forward to bow. Inhale, press to lengthen halfway. Step back to plank. You could hold plank, take a cat-cow, or full-on vinyasa. Breathing into cobra or upward dog. Anytime you could skip this part and simply step into downward dog. We'll meet there. Now from downward dog, keep your hips balanced again and inhale, raise the right leg back. Engage the belly and exhale. Step the foot inside of the right hand, just like a lunge. Separate your feet hips width, but differently. Spin the back heel down, pivoting the toes slightly to face forward. Now with your two hips facing forward, remember when we brought the arms by your sides? Use that strength in legs and belly to slowly rise up to warrior one. Now as you continue to bend the front knee just over the heel, draw the thigh bone back deeper into the hip socket while pressing your left outer heel into the mat. Straighten your left leg and spin the inner thigh towards the back of your mat. As you lift the frontal hip bones, anchor the tailbone down, and feel the reach up through your arms from your hips as you relax the shoulders, lifting your heart and your crown. Perhaps the palms meet and you look up. Virabhadrasana 1. As you exhale, lower your hands and flow into your vinyasa of choice. You could always just step back to downward dog, finding a balance for your own energy level right now. When you arrive in downward dog, inhale, raise the left leg back. Engage the belly. Exhale, softly step the foot inside of left hand. Feet are hips width apart. Drop the right heel and turn the toes slightly forward. Pressing down through both feet, feel the arms by your sides, engaging the side waist, the belly, the legs as you rise. Warrior 1. Bending the front knee just over the ankle. Draw the thigh bone deeper into the hip socket. Firming the outer right heel into the earth, straighten the right leg, spiral the inner right thigh towards the rear of your mat. Feel the orientation of your pelvis as you lift the frontal hip bones. Allow the pelvis to be upright, affecting the full length of your spine. And breath. Maybe the palms meet and you look up, relaxing the shoulders down. On your next exhalation, take it all the way down through what you choose. Flow, step back. We'll meet in downward facing dog. Rebalancing your breath. Breathe in deeply. Breathe in slowly through the nose, whispering the breath at the back of your throat. So we'll wrap up this first round by bending the knees and looking forward. Bottom of the exhale, lightly land, feet touch, top of your mat, forward folds. Then inhale, rise halfway. Exhale, fold. Knees touch, bend your knees, sink your hips low. Inhale, chair pose. Then exhale to rise up. So that's one full sun salutation V. Now let's flow once through it. Remember that meditative state of mind, much brought into how you connect breathing, pacing with the body. Here we go. Arms by your sides. Next, inhale, bend your knees, sit low in chair. Then exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Step to plank or float to chaturanga, exhaling to lower into your choice of vinyasa or none, back to downward dog. Feel the breath. Then inhale, raise your right leg. Exhale, step the foot inside of right hand, feet hips width, drop the back heel. Inhale, rise fully into warrior 1. Since we're flowing, exhale all the way down, your choice, vinyasa or not. Full breath in. Slow exhale. Second side, inhale, raise the left leg. Exhale the foot inside of left hand, feet hips width, drop the back heel. Inhale to rise all the way up, warrior 1. Exhale to lower. Your choice. We'll eventually meet again in downward facing dog. Downward dog, about 3 to 5 more breaths. Holding the body steady. Breathing into the belly, all the way to the top of your chest, like we did at the start. Listening to the exhale, smoothly exit the nose. At the end of your next exhalation with bent knees, look forward, walk, or lightly jump to the top, feet touch. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Exhale, fold. Knees bent, sink your hips back, chair pose. Let's add a twist this round. So join your hands at your heart. Try to keep your hips facing forward without turning the pelvis. Turn your rib cage so your chest faces the right side of your mat. Sink the hips a little lower. Breathe in to lengthen the spine. Hips stay still. Continue to turn the rib cage. You might use the leverage of your left arm against the right leg. Now, whatever variation, if you practice arm balances and you need to get that in right now, you could plant your hands outside the right edge of your mat, bending the elbows to face the left edge of your mat into a twisting crow pose. Otherwise, you're in revolved chair in a variation of your choice. Last 2 breaths. Soften the eyes, relax the mouth. Coming back to center in chair pose, inhale the arms up. Press to your feet and exhale to rise up. So before we take the other side, let's bring the feet to touch in mountain pose. Standing tall, shoulders back and down. Steady your gaze on the ground ahead and shift your weight onto your left foot. Turn out your right leg at the hip, coming into tree pose. So with the right sole hugging the inside of your left ankle, calf, or thigh, feel the rebalancing of your hips as you orient your pelvis upright. Rooting down through your standing foot, lifting up through the center of your spine. Breathe in. Breathe out. And anything you want to add here, you could also play with raising the arms overhead, closing your eyes, and playing with challenging your balance that way, all in a light-hearted practice while connecting to your breath. Last 3 breaths here in Vrikshasana. Then, joining your hands at your heart, step your right foot down and bring your feet together to touch. We'll do the next side in a moment. Let's finish that revolved chair. So with feet touching, knees touching, sink your weight back to your heels in chair, Utkatasana. Join your hands at your heart. Steady your hips. Breathe in to lengthen the spine. At your waistline, exhale to twist, turning your chest to the left side. Breathe in, sink the hips a little lower, lengthen the spine. Exhale, twisting. You might add a leverage of right arm against left thigh. If you played with revolved crow, you can plant your hands outside the left edge of your mat. Elbows point to the right edge of the mat, and you look past the left fingertips to lean towards the left side. Whatever variation, let's take a couple more deep breaths. Using these asanas, these postures as tools to practice listening in, even when the circumstances might be challenging externally. Come back to chair pose. Inhale the arms up. Exhale to rise up. Second side of tree, so shift your weight onto your right foot. Turn out your left leg at the hip. Hug the sole of your left foot against your inner right ankle, calf, or thigh. Orienting your 2 hips squared, pelvis upright. Feel the ground. Press into that support. Feel the rise up through the crown of your head to your heart. With steady breath, any way you want to play with this, challenging your balance in any way. 3 more breaths in Vrikshasana. So lovely to see you too over there, Gregory and Tori. Tree among the trees. Join your hands together at your heart and step your left foot down. Inhale, sweep the arms overhead. Deepening the breath again. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Exhale, bow with feet touching, knees bent. Begin to lower slowly from chair to sitting at the middle of your mat for boat Navasana. Either holding the floor with your hands, catching the backs of your thighs, or not using your arms at all. Think of lifting the pelvic floor again to lift your spine upright as you relax the shoulders. Maybe you play with straightening the legs. We're here for 7 more breaths. Visualize breathing into the base of your spine as you take a deep breath in. And exhale, 7. Now into the lower belly, inhale. Exhale, 6. Into your upper belly, inhale. Exhale, 5. Into your heart center, inhale. Exhale, 4. You got this. Into your throat, inhale. Exhale, 3. We got this. Right between the eyebrows, inhale. Exhale, 2. Last one, above the crown of the head, inhale. Sit tall. And exhale, slowly lower your feet. Now let's straighten the left leg forward. Take the right ankle and cross it just over the left thigh like a figure 4 shape. Flexing your right foot, place your hands alongside your hips and ground your 2 sitting bones, lift the spine upright. Now you could stay in this version where the left leg remains straight and you fold in towards it. Nice outer hip and hamstring stretch. Or to get a little deeper into the right hip, you could bend the left knee, press the left foot into the ground, and the closer you slide the left foot towards your pelvis, the deeper the hip opener becomes. Just find a good balance of breathing well and honoring your body. Sitting up tall if you're not folding over the straight leg. Flexing the right foot helps to stabilize the right knee joint here as we're turning out the right thigh and the hip. Let's take 3 more breaths. You could also use the right hand and gently splay that inner right thigh open. And then re-extend both legs. Let's take the left ankle and cross it over the right thigh like a figure 4. And this side might be different depending on what's going on with your hips and hamstrings. Maybe you flex the right foot and take a forward fold here. If you want a little more focus in the outer left hip, bend the right knee and begin to step the right foot closer to your pelvis, just a degree where, again, it's a good balance of effort and ease, especially in the breathing. And you're still able to lift the spine upright without feeling rigid. Breathe in. Breathe out. Last 2 breaths. Feel the support around your left knee joint as you flex the left foot. Wonderful. So some of you, let's go ahead and uncross the legs. Some of you have an inversion practice that might be headstand, whether tripod headstand or with a triangular base. Feel free to take that instead of what I'm about to lead now, if you do. Otherwise, let's come down to all 4s and we'll plug in 2 rounds of dolphin pose. Nice. Going upside down before we completely cool down. So if you're coming into dolphin, set your knees on the floor, hands in the ground, and then place your elbows on the floor exactly your shoulders distance apart. Really important to not splay the elbows wider than that. You could either parallel the forearms on the floor with the palms face down or interlace the fingers, more of a triangular base. Helpful if your mat is slippery. Then as you press down with the forearms, draw the shoulders back away from the neck and begin to tuck the toes as you firm the belly to lift the hips up. You're in it. Dolphin pose. 5 breaths, more or less your count, then rest in child's pose. While in dolphin, if you're able to walk the feet closer to your elbows, try that. And at the same time, press your chest back toward your shins so that your shoulders remain just above the elbows, not in front of the elbows. Feel the space in your neck. You could either let your head hang freely without touching anything, or you could look forward towards your thumbs. Feel the broadening of the shoulder blades. When you come down to rest in child's pose, keep your head low. Whenever you're upside down for a while, try not to lift your head up too quickly so you don't get lightheaded. If you're resting, take maybe 3 deep breaths before practicing one more of the inversion that you chose. We'll all eventually meet in child's pose. If in dolphin you want to add some different challenges to it, you haven't yet, you can bring the feet to touch, keep the hips squared, and lift one leg up for a few breaths, flexing that foot, and then switch legs. This is a preparation for perhaps one day lifting both legs in a posture called Pincha Mayurasana. And then again, when you're ready, back to child's pose. And this time, you might want to give your shoulders a rest by wrapping your arms back beside your shins. You might even catch hold of your heels behind you and tuck your chin to your chest, stretching the back of your neck. Let's take a couple more long exhalations through the mouth here. From child's pose, extend your arms forward, look forward, then slide all the way down into Sphinx pose, lying on your belly with forearms on the floor, elbows just slightly in front of the shoulders, lifting the chest. Once in Sphinx, slide your knees as close together as you can. We're going to give the quadriceps a bit of a stretch by crossing your left forearm on the ground in front of your chest. Then bending your right knee, backstroke your right arm so that you can also open the inner shoulder. Catch the inside, the big toe side of your right ankle or foot. Then reground your right hip bone to the floor and bring your knees no wider apart than your hips distance. This helps to support the lower back. Turning your chest forward, feel the support of the left forearm. Let's take 3 or more breaths here. Bringing the right heel just slightly to the outside of your right hip, lengthening into that already very long muscle, your quadricep. Draw the shoulder blades down the back. Notice the muscles in your face. Deep breath. Then after this exhale, release the right leg straight. Let's come back to Sphinx for a breath. Both forearms on the floor. Slide the knees close together. Then cross the right forearm on the ground in front of your chest. Bend the left knee, backstroke the left arm to open the front of the shoulder, catch the big toe side, the inside of left ankle or foot. Then slide the knees closer together if they splayed wider than hips width. Ground both of your frontal hip bones and turn your chest to face forward again. Feel the support of right forearm pressing the floor. Breathe. Bringing your left heel just slightly towards the outside of your left hip. Ground your pubic bone to help create space in your lower back. Shoulders soften down. Last couple of breaths. At the end of this exhalation, release the left leg and lower your forehead to the floor. Take a moment, a couple of breaths to rest. So we're going to prepare for either locust pose. I'll demonstrate that here now. It's with the legs straight, feet hips width, parallel, and the arms either straight back, open wide, or more rigor, reaching them forward. Everything that you can lift up for your count of 5 or so breaths. This is a good option if you tend to have lower back issues. It's strengthening for the lower back. Otherwise, if you want to focus more on the heart opener, the back bend and the shoulders, let's come into bow. Bring the knees as close together as you can for bow. Bend both knees. Reach back with both hands to catch your outer feet. Then pressing your pubic bone against the mat, kick the legs towards straight while pulling your feet. Feel your knees rise away from the floor. As you coil your chest up, lengthen the back of your neck by looking slightly down. So your count of 5 or more breaths before letting go to rest. Both of these postures put weight in the front of the torso, especially the digestive organs, which helps to stimulate digestion. While opening front body, including the chest. When you come down to rest, turn one ear towards the ground. You might even use your forearms like a pillow to rest your head on. And pigeon toe your feet. Breathe in. Take a long exhale through the mouth. One more inhale. Side out. Last back bend. Now if you prefer to lie in your back and take bridge pose, feel free to do that on your own. Otherwise, one of the first 2 that we just went over, locust or bow. Your choice, counting on your own, 5 to 8 deep breaths. Now, in any of these three postures, imagine that you're hugging a yoga block by the skinniest width in between your thighs, helping to firm your outer hips to traction your midline, to traction your lower spine. Right under the shoulder blades is where you want to feel most of that contraction to lift the chest. Filling up your lungs, great posture to expand the capacity of your lungs. You might imagine you're breathing through your heart. And when you come down to release, whether you're on your belly or you're on your back, if you're on your belly, turn the opposite ear to the floor to stretch the other side of your neck. But in either position, bend your knees and gently sway your shins both to the left, to the right a few times in a gentle moving twist to massage and release your lower back. Take a deep inhale, longer exhale through the mouth. One more time. So whatever posture you're in, let's start to make our way onto hands and knees again, all fours. We're going to take a counterbalancing posture, thread the needle, opening up the backs of the shoulders, the upper back in a twist. So set up with your knees under your hips and your wrists a couple inches in front of your shoulders. We have a little more room to twist. Then with your left hand on the ground, raise the right arm up before sliding it underneath the left bent elbow. Then rest the right side of your head all the way down. You might place a pillow or something if you have one, if the head doesn't easily meet the floor. With the right palm facing up, left elbow bent towards the ceiling or the sky. Feel out your two hips as you try to keep them balanced so that the twist is happening at your waistline, not at the pelvis. Now allow your breath to expand a little more into the backs of your lungs, feeling your shoulder blades spread apart. Let's take one more deep breath here. Press into the ground to rise up. Second side, raise your left arm up. Then thread it underneath your right bent elbow. Rest the left side of your head on the ground or on a prop and turn the left palm to face up. Bending the right elbow towards the sky. Level your hips squared, allowing your rib cage to turn as you feel the breath broaden into the backs of your ribs, filling up space behind your heart. Share in one more deep breath here. Slowly rise up and bring your legs in front of you to sit with legs straight ahead. Starting in stick pose, Dandasana. Separate your feet hips width and flex your feet by pressing the big toe mounds further forward so the pinky toes slightly flare back toward your outer hips. This helps to just create some traction for the lower back. And then ground your sitting bones, lift the spine, draw the shoulders back and down, and be mindful of maintaining this natural space between your chin and chest, your throat, as you lead with your chest, walking the hands forward to fold in Paschimottanasana. With each inhalation, pause and re-ground the sitting bones while lengthening the spine from the pelvis. Keeping the heart slightly lifted, open throat, exhale to fold a little deeper. Just the amount that allows you the full length in the sides of your neck and the rest of your spine. Let's take about 3 more breaths here. And as you engage your quadriceps, the muscles at the fronts of your thighs, you help to support and lengthen your hamstrings, the muscles in the backs of your thighs. Then again, begin by lifting the chest. Inhale, slowly rise up. If you want just a little bit more of core stability, you could bend your knees and step your feet on the ground and very slowly lower 1 vertebra at a time. Otherwise, we'll meet lying on your back. And once your head is on the ground, find a restful manner of lifting your legs up above your heart. Knees could be bent. You could be moving the legs, like rolling the thighs in circles, massaging the sacrum and glutes. Or maybe you practice shoulder stand, as long as you know how to practice it safely and have no neck or shoulder injuries. Let's give it another minute. Nice way to cool down and relax the feet and legs, stimulate circulation and digestion. And while in that cooling in version, I invite you to count 5 as you breathe in, 7 as you breathe out, lengthening the out breath and helping to relax the mind. Breathe in for 5 counts, breathe out for 7. And with each exhalation, paying attention to different parts of your body that you could perhaps soften, give permission to relax even deeper. You knowing where you might tend to hold tension physically. Start with those areas. Take a few more breaths to gently lower your entire body to find the most comfortable position to lie still in for Shavasana. A few minutes. Once there, close your eyes and release control of your breath. Allow yourself these few minutes to rest. As your eyes remain closed and your body still, just feel the breath again. Gently begin to move your fingers and toes, easing into waking up your body. You might reach the arms overhead and stretch down through your legs. And then bending your knees towards your chest. Roll softly to your right side, resting your head. Just pause a moment. Being easy with your body, easy with yourself. As you feel ready, press the ground and lift your body upright. Find a comfortable seat for our 3-minute, partially guided meditation. So in this practice, begin by taking a seat. Feel where your body is touching the seat and touching the ground. Sense where your bottom is touching the seat and sit up straight, but not stiff. Make sure your feet are completely touching the ground, connecting you to the earth. Your eyes are open, so take in the surroundings of where you are. Then lower your gaze slightly just in front of you. Pay light attention to your breath as it goes out, breathing in naturally. At the end of each out-breath, let there be a gap while the in-breath is happening. And in that gap, you have natural awareness. Breathe out. Feel the gap in the in-breath. That natural awareness is already there. You don't have to create it. So just follow the breath out and take a moment to rest in your natural awareness before the in-breath. As thoughts arise, treat them as you would anything else you encounter. Notice them and use that noticing to bring you back to the out-breath and ride it out. As you bring your hands together, your heart, bow in towards your heart. Perhaps finding some thought of something that you genuinely appreciate as you sit here now. And with that energy of gratitude, let's close our practice together, chanting in one Om. Take a deep breath in. The light in me bows to the light in you. Namaste. There we go. Ah, lovely to practice with you all. How's everyone doing?
Great.
Yes? What'd you think of that out-breath practice for meditation?
Nice.
Not too different. This one was more with the eyes. Well, this one was with the eyes open. Did you find a difference for you, whether eyes closed or eyes open, in helping to meditate?
I tried to count, but finally I lost it.
You did the counting method, like
I
the
did, but
10 breaths? Mm-hmm.
yeah, but after that it didn't go in.
Okay, well, it's the practice of coming back.
So it's kind of,
Because that losing count is gonna happen. It's
yeah,
it's kind of inevitable, and it's you know.
I lost count and my mind went away again.
Mm,
I like the focal point though, like what I'm looking at.
which one?
I like when my eyes open, there's like a focal point.
A focal point with your eyes.
Yeah,
Nice. Did you have something in particular that you were staring at that was helpful?
just a piece of grass.
Yeah. I think the simpler the better. I mean, if it's something really ornate, you might start to analyze the decoration or something, like a candle flame, or yeah.
Yeah.
I had
Anything
a hard
else?
time keeping my eyes open.
Yeah, my go-to is to close my eyes, and then I was like, wait a minute, I told everyone to open. Same here.
It's like my default.
I gotta close my eyes.
What did you say?
I have to close my eyes.
Yeah.
My mind is reading everything. I have to close my eyes.
Yeah. How many of you did the eyes open help?
No,
I
it's closed.
started,
Yeah,
I
Melinda.
started to do that, but then I started to count.
Then you did the counting.
Yeah.
Did you find one more helpful than the other?
I'm used to counting, so it's easier for me.
Mm-hmm.
I
Any
think
other thoughts?
I think my eyes opens help because I'm outside and like they're too distracting. The noises.
Uh-huh.
So if my eyes were closed, I would have only been hearing stuff. But like
Oh,
visual stimulation helped.
then you could focus on the visual
Yeah.
instead of the audio.
Yeah. Kids crying. People yelling.
Any other thoughts or anything interesting that came up for you in that, I know, very brief 3 minutes?
Why does it feel forever?
Why does it feel forever? Sometimes it does. Sometimes I'll sit for 5 minutes and it'll feel like it was 30, and sometimes I'll sit for 20 minutes, it'll feel like it was 5. It's just, what is the mind state right now that you're working with? It always changes, I think. Hey, Kimberly.
I have to go.
Okay, good to see you.
Stay healthy, everyone.
Yeah, stay healthy.
Hi, Kim.
Bye.
Just a reminder that Friday afternoon after our yoga class ends at 5:30, 5:45, we're having a collective intention meditation. If you would like to join us, it's only a sitting meditation, but we'll be focusing on different people's personal intentions. And then we'll end with a few minutes on global wellness as the focus. It's free, it's on Zoom. You can find the link on my website, the same place where you find this link. Yeah.
I'm joined by my kitty.
Hello, Kitty.
Oh.
All right. Bye, guys.
Thank you,
Bye,
Michelle.
Andrea.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you,
Bye,
Michelle.
guys.
Bye. Bye.
Thank
Bye,
you.
Jen.
Good night,
Bye,
everyone.
Gina.
Thanks for
Bye.
joining.
Bye.
Bye, Paulette.
Nice to meet you, Paulette.
Yes.
Bye, guys.
Bye.